Less than 24 hours after Azerbaijan's military launched operations in Karabakh, Baku and Armenian separatist leaders reached a ceasefire on Wednesday. According to Azerbaijan, the separatists agreed to lay down their arms in exchange for the Russian-brokered ceasefire. Azerbaijan's army said it had retaken more than 90 positions from Armenian separatists before both sides announced a complete cessation of hostilities. Representatives from both sides also met for a first round of talks on Thursday. Now on Tuesday, Azerbaijan launched a full-scale military operation backed with artillery after it said 4 of its soldiers had been killed by landmines planted by Armenian separatists. Reports say dozens have been killed and hundreds injured in recent clashes. Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev declared his country's sovereignty had been restored in Karabakh, a breakaway region internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan. In a televised address, Aliyev announced Azerbaijan now wishes to fully integrate Karabakh's 120,000 ethnic Armenian population into the country. And to further discuss the Azerbaijani military operation against Armenian separatists in Karabakh, joining me now from Baku is Fariz Ismailzadeh. He is a vice rector at Ada University, and Tariq Oğuzlu. He's a professor at Aydın University. To both our guests, thanks so much for joining us here on Straight Talk. Fariz, I'm going to start with you. And what's your take on the results of Azerbaijan's military operation? Was this operation a game changer for the region?
Absolutely. First of all, I would like to say that this is better to call it as a counterterrorism operation, because you know that Armenian illegal military formations have been using Lachen Road to ship weapons and landmines and to arm themselves. So Azerbaijani government had to take action against these terrorists, and this was very successful operation. Within 24 hours, actually, Azerbaijani special forces were able to liquidate and destroy some military bases, capture some military equipment, ammunition, trucks full of actually landmines. And you know that more than 300 Azerbaijani civilians have already died from landmines. So in a way, it is a very successful operation. And as a result of this, now Azerbaijan is able to more actively engage in dialogue with local residents, local Armenian residents, and to offer peace agenda to these people.
So Azerbaijan's president Ilham Aliyev has said that Baku has restored its sovereignty over Karabakh. Does this mark the full return of Karabakh to Baku's control?
Already yesterday we had the first round of discussions between Azerbaijani officials and local Armenian residents in the city of Yevlakh, and there was an agreement reached on provision of food and other supplies, electricity, fuel. So all of these activities is one of the first steps to integrate Karabakh Armenians and to restore Azerbaijan's sovereignty.
Okay, Tariq, I'm going to bring you in now. And Baku's military operation, or counter-terrorism operation, as Fariz describes it, it was ended by the ceasefire agreement brokered by Russian peacekeepers, this taking place on Wednesday, of course. The ceasefire, though, was breached shortly after, and Russian peacekeepers were reportedly killed. Looking at all of this, is the ceasefire viable going forward?
I think it is viable to some degree because Russia is so weak. It is because of the fact that Russia is in the middle of a war in Ukraine. It is because of the fact that Russia has lost a lot of in its relationship with Armenia. It is also because of the fact that rather than Russia, the other countries in the region, in particular Turkey, seems to be much more powerful in these days. It's not because of the fact that Russia is powerful that the ceasefire agreement will last. Let me explain what I mean by that. Russia is not in a powerful position to impose any kind of term on the parties on the ground. Rather than Russia, the other countries are trying to have much more influential role in this regard. And you all know the story that Armenians have very problematic relationship with Russian authorities these days. And also we know the story that European Union and the United States are in dire need to have a much better relationship with Azerbaijan just because of the fact that they would like to decrease their dependence on Russian gas and oil. And also we know that Turkey is very much supporting Azerbaijan in this particular situation. So I think the court is the bodies in the court support of other countries rather than Russia to make sure that the ceasefire agreement will last in the days to come. And as far as I know, all these regional players are quite committed to this ceasefire agreement, because as the previous speaker has already underlined, this seems to mark the beginning of the final transfer of the whole Nagorno-Karabakh region to Azeri control.
Okay, Fariz, you were nodding throughout everything that Tariq was saying there. So I just want to get your take on what he was talking about, and talking about other countries that may be able to help the ceasefire continue, because the ceasefire deal was followed by those negotiations that took place on Thursday. They were fruitful, but no final conclusion as to what's going to happen. What is Azerbaijan wanting from these Armenian separatists? We know that one of the main issues has been the complete disarmament of separatists.
Absolutely. I think that ceasefire will continue as long as Armenians engage in dialogue with Azerbaijani authorities, accept aid from Azerbaijani authorities. They need to disarm, and all the Armenian military forces need to withdraw from this area. So these are the conditions that Azerbaijan put forward, and I think that this process has already started. I believe that as long as Armenians do not try to take some revanchist measures, do not send more weapons, more soldiers, as long as Republic of Armenia stays away from Azerbaijan's internal matters, the ceasefire will hold, and the reintegration of Karabakh Armenians will successfully be implemented.
Well, Fariz, let's talk a little bit about the implementation of the coexistence of these two groups in Karabakh. Aliyev has guaranteed the security rights and the rights, rather, of Armenians in Karabakh. How will that actually happen? Because you've got decades of hostility between two groups. How open do you think ethnic Armenians will be to being under the rule of Azerbaijan?
Well, we have had peaceful coexistence during Soviet times. You know that Armenians and Azerbaijanis lived side by side in very good ways, and there are about 60 different ethnic groups living in Azerbaijan. You know, we have Georgians, Ukrainians, Russians, Jews, all different groups, and it's a multicultural country. But Armenians, of course, will be protected by Azerbaijani constitution, by Azerbaijani legislation. They will have full rights for education, cultural activities, for local self-governance, meaning that municipal elections, just like in other parts of Azerbaijan, will be held. But important point here to keep in mind is that Azerbaijan does not want Armenian diaspora, Armenian Republic to send, weapons, to send funds, to send separatist and extremist ideology. This needs to end. And as long as this ends, then the reintegration and peaceful coexistence is possible.
Okay, Tariq, we've been talking about Azerbaijan and Armenia and this ongoing situation, but the reaction in Armenia has not gone down well. Protests have broken out against Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. There are calls for him to resign. Not the first time that he has faced such calls. Do you think he's going to be able to survive this?
I think Pashinyan is a quite interesting case study. He seems to be the only guy in Armenia very much believing in the idea that the final solution to this dispute lies with Nagorno-Karabakh going back to Azeri control. And he had in the recent past underlined the fact that we, the Republic of Armenia, are on the verge of recognizing Nagorno-Karabakh as a part of Azerbaijani Republic. And this had caused a great degree of tension in Armenian internal politics. And we all know that the people, the ethnic Armenians and ultra-nationalist Armenians and the opposition figures in the Armenian administration are quite angry with this latest developments taking place on the ground. They still think that Nagorno-Karabakh should remain a part of Armenia, or not officially speaking, not becoming a part of Armenia officially, but it is under Armenian sphere of influence, or keeping its current status. But we all know that Pashinyan took great risk in this particular sense, and we should not forget the fact that he won the elections, which were held very recently in recent past, and he was once again chosen as the Prime Minister of Armenia, despite the fact that he was very much against the conservative understanding of this Nagorno-Karabakh dispute in Armenian political community. So I am of the view that Pashinyan and the people who are eager to support him think that there is only one viable solution to this problem. Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, being the key holder of this particular region, should reach a kind of compromise solution. The route to prosperity and security for Armenia goes through having cordial relations with Turkey and also Azerbaijan. And finally, let me add also this particular fact, neither Russia nor any other country, in particular Western countries as well, are in a position to provide long-term security, welfare and prosperity to Armenian Republic. This is not going to be the case.
Fariz, you were speaking earlier about the diaspora and talking about the Armenian diaspora. How much of an influence do they have on the situation in Karabakh?
Well, traditionally, Armenian diaspora has had a very large influence, and they send money, they send different kind of support, and they also support the separatist ideology, extremist separatist ideology. And we know that some members of diaspora have also been involved in terrorist activities against Turkish diplomats, against Azerbaijani embassies. So this is very extremist part of Armenian society population. But I would say that lately, due to success of Azerbaijan in military activities, due to liberation of our lands, and due to the restoration works that Azerbaijan is doing in Karabakh, their ideology and their influence has been decreasing. I mean, the diasporas. And the diaspora ultimately will need to agree and to respect Azerbaijan's territorial integrity and to stay away from such instigation of extremist and separatist ideas, I believe.
Fariz Ismailzadeh in Baku and Tariq Ozlu, really appreciate your insight and analysis. Thank you both so much.